that President Trump and Steve Witkoff and team are more desperate for an Iran deal than Iran is, which is insane. There is no reason the United States should be more desperate for a deal with a completely weakened Iran than Iran is for a deal to open up its economy. Iran should be coming on bended knee right now. All of their proxies have been exploded by the Israeli military. Their economy doesn't exist. Right now, the Iranian rial is trading at historic lows. The rial amounts to 0.000024 of a US dollar. Okay, which is to say that one US dollar is trading for 42,125 Iranian rials, which, shall we say, is not a particularly good record there. Like, that is because their economy's been crushed. And yet, the United
It's not entirely true, but he said, yeah, it is true. The economy is crushed because, like I was born in Iran, raised in Iran, so I know that. He's using real, but he has to actually use toman because a few years ago they abandoned the real because it was so cheap. And, just like Bolivia in Venezuela, so they decided to just use the toman. Like basically we have cent and dollar. Imagine the economy is so bad that we abandon. We don't use cent anymore because it's worthless. We go just use the toman. I remember before the first round of the negotiation between indirect or direct, whatever you're gonna call it, between Iran and United States in Muscat in Oman. Basically, the dollar was all-time high, 107,000. Every dollar was exchanged for 107,000 toman. And then after third round of negotiation, when they were getting close to have a deal, it dropped to 72,000. Some people, they said they were manipulating the market over there for to give the signal to the people like, hey, look, if you have the deal with United States, the dollar gonna get cheaper and cheaper, and so of course the power of the toman gonna go higher, right? So some people who pro-West people in the cabinet of the Pezeshkian, the president of United States, deliberately they were manipulating the market in order to get what they wanted. But either it is true or not, yeah, it is very bad, but it dropped down to 77,000 from 107,000 in matter of 3 weeks, 3 rounds of the negotiation. So, yeah, this part, what he says is completely true.
United States is so desperate for a deal, what, for the sake of a deal? The Iranians know this, which is why they're pushing. And so when Trump warns Netanyahu not to go and do anything about Iran, just trust us. Okay, listen. I will trust that President Trump will cut a good deal if he continues to maintain the Trump 1.0 stance, which is no nuclear enrichment at all, no nuclear facilities at all. That was something that 3 weeks ago the Trump administration was saying. President Trump himself, again, I'm with Trump 1.0 on this, not Steve Witkoff and J.D. Vance 2.0. Donald Trump 1.0 killed Qasem Soleimani, destroyed the Iranian economy, and held them in check. Then Joe Biden came in, reversed a bunch of that stuff.
A couple of things. One of them is when he, like, let's start with the last one. When he talks about the Soleimani, like, let's not forget that it was supposed to be together, like Israel and America were supposed to be together, but very last moment, Netanyahu, and exactly this prime minister, Netanyahu said, I'm out, we are not going to help you, and America did it alone. And Trump said he never forgot that. He said, we were together on this operation and the mission, very last moment he abandoned. And this is basically what always do. They prop you up to do something, but whenever it comes to the consequence, they leave you alone. This is basically typically what they are doing it. So first of all, about the Soleimani, let's not forget that Israel abandoned United States and left them alone, and United States did by themselves. So that basically the backstab, sorry. They backstab from the behind because he really counted on the Israel to do it together, but they didn't anyway. And even he was talking about that. I talked with my general, with pilot, and they said we can do it anyway, with or without help of Israel. We can do it. That's why they continue to do the operation. Plus, what happened was the response to the Soleimani was attacking the, if I'm not, green zone. Green zone is the area that Americans are living there. I think the U.S. embassy is there in Iraq, and they attack them as a, like, we want Americans out of the, basically Iran paid so many of these, like militia group to go attack the green zone, and one American died. And in order to de-escalate the situation, he killed Soleimani. Because if he killed any other soldiers, Islamic regime doesn't care about the people's life. We all know that. So they don't care about the lives of their own people. Actually, they would love America attack a couple of the soldiers so they could, because people are in Iran are unhappy with the regime. So if America attack a couple of the soldiers, people in Iran, Iran said, you see, I am defending you, so go back. So the gap would be filled between the people and the regime. But instead of escalating one step by one step between America, oh, you killed one of my soldier, I killed one of yours. You killed one of my general, I killed one of yours. You killed one of my pilot, I killed one of you. So he ended by directly killing Soleimani. Say, if you kill one more American soldier, I'm going to go after, because, indirectly he said Ayatollah, because they said we're going to attack 400, what's it called? We're gonna attack 400 culture museums, something like it was a code. It was like a code to Iran. Like, we know that what places you're gonna keep your Ayatollah hidden. So if we attack all of them, eventually it's gonna be in one of them. So it will be done. And that's why, like, for retaliation, Iran already said to Iraq to tell them to evacuate their basically the base, military base, so we could attack the empty military base to say, oh, we revenge that. And even Trump was saying, like, I respected that, because they said we have to do something, but in order to de-escalate that, we make sure to not kill any Americans, so you won't respond back again. But one other thing is, like, even if that was accident, one of our American people died by the Iranian regime, they didn't apologize, they didn't send any letter, they didn't say it was accident and nothing, but they're just celebrating. Maybe deep down they were scared of what America's reaction gonna be, but they were acting like, hey, yeah, we are in the business. And so that was a response to the President Trump. So don't mix them together. The Soleimani thing was only solely about us, American people. One of ours died, so we retaliated. So it has nothing to do with Israel. That somehow he wants to make everything about himself. And then he said, yeah, there are. He said, I want Trump 1.0. Trump 1.0 was 2016. Are you that stupid, Ben? Really? Like, you are comparing 2016 with 2025? 2016, Russia hadn't attacked Ukraine. We were not very close to the nuclear war. And Pakistan and India, two nuclear powers, they were not attacking each other. We didn't have 20 million illegal immigrants inside our country. The inflation wasn't so high. Everything is destroyed. Everything is a mess. 2016, I'm not saying it was the best, but basically the administration, the America that Obama passed to the Trump was way better than the America that Biden passed to the Trump. So you are saying, why aren't we doing what Trump did 2016? Exactly, because it was 2016. Our situation was way higher. So even if we were going into the war, like we were, because there was some exchanges between, like, they were pirates, they were stealing ships, we could manage that. But right now, in 4 fronts, we are fighting: China, Taiwan, India, Pakistan, Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Hamas, and then now Israel. How many things we can do? Plus, we didn't have 20 million illegal immigrants. We didn't have the flood of fentanyls to kill our people. So don't compare. Like, yeah, of course. You know what? As a Persian, Aryan Persian, so I would love to go back to the time that my grandfather Cyrus the Great was in power. Like, we Persian empire, we were ruling the world. Like, I want to go back, but going back doesn't mean like the situation, we have to reverse the situation as well. We are not there. Like, 2016, people were not dying, they were not stealing eggs for eating. It wasn't that bad. Economic wasn't that bad. We were not in verge of the collapse. We were not in verge of, like, recession. I mean, can't you see the situation? Yeah, if Trump didn't need to worry about any other problem, yeah, of course we could play with Iran. That's for one. For two, let's not forget we have 70,000 soldiers over there. Plus, we got just $3 trillion investment from Qatar, Emirat, and Saudi Arabia, right? And they are saying like escalation gonna put our investment in jeopardy. You know, like we want safe and peaceful Middle East. That's why we are paying you America so much so we can police in the environment. So if Trump said, let's go attack, it's going to be against all of the agenda. That shows actually Ben Shapiro only cares about one country, and it's Israel. He doesn't say that if we attack Iran and if it escalates the situation in the Middle East, in the region, it's gonna backfire on America. He doesn't care. He said, I care about only press, just like AIPAC. I don't care what is your policy. As long as you have loyalty to Israel, we will support you. That's why like they equally support Republican and Democrats. So because they don't have any ideology other than supporting Israel. So what he's saying, I want Trump 1.0, it's not because 1.0 America was great and make America great again was great. He is saying like that time he was more loyal to Israel. It just shows like how he cannot care less about United States of America. I am an immigrant. I wasn't born in United States and I love this country. I'm more passionate about this country than this guy who was born in here.
And you got October 7th and a vast regional war. Why wouldn't we just go back to Trump 1.0? That is the foreign policy that actually shaped the Abraham Accords. Why is that not the thing? Instead of calling the prime minister of Israel and telling him he needs to restrain himself on Iran, if you actually wanted to negotiate this thing out, shouldn't the Trump administration be going to the Iranians and saying, listen, we can't hold these guys back? Or if you actually want to negotiate a good Iran nuclear deal, what you would do is you would say to the Iranians, you know, these Israelis, they're champing at the bit, they're ready to hit you. You need to, let's make a deal, because otherwise, I don't know, like what I can do, they're an independent country. But the reason, I would assume, that there is such lack of comfort from the Israeli government toward the U.S. government right now is because of all the signals that are coming out from the U.S. government, ranging from, maybe we'll give them like a pause in nuclear enrichment, and then later they can enrich. Or maybe they can enrich to 3%, but not 60%. Or maybe we can basically do the Obama JCPOA 2.0 and ram it through. And meanwhile, by the way, the NSC, the National Security Council, is apparently being cleansed of many of the more hawkish members.
All right. So basically what he's saying is saying like, why don't you use the leverage of Netanyahu instead of putting restraint on him to not attack Iran? Why don't you use that as a leverage to go to the Iran and say, hey, I really don't want to bomb you, but you know, like that's Israel, they can bomb you. So you want to have deal with me or you want to attack them? Exactly. This is exactly what he's doing. Exactly, this is what he's doing. He's saying to Iran, hey, listen, they're going to bomb it for you. You're going to give it to us and have a good, peaceful relationship and then a flood of investment into your country, and you're not going to go bankrupt, or you want to do easy way or hard way. You're basically, Trump is playing the good cop and then Netanyahu is playing a bad cop in this negotiation. Exactly, this is what he's doing. But the thing that Ben Shapiro deliberately is not saying is like Netanyahu is not even waiting to see what the deal is. He said, I'm going to attack it right now. Like I saw that in CNN was reporting it from some unconfirmed resource or whatever it was. It says between Netanyahu decide to attack till the attack is launched is only 7 hours difference. And any moment it can happen. So when they are so close to have the deal, he wants to attack. So Ben Shapiro is trying to make it look like, why don't you use Netanyahu as a bad cop so you could have more leverage on the negotiation? This is exactly what Trump is doing. Netanyahu is not saying, this is not exactly what Netanyahu is saying, leave the table, exit the negotiation and let us attack. This is what he's doing. Like if people only watch Ben Shapiro, they would think like, yeah, like it doesn't make sense. Just use it so you can get more points. He is doing that. The problem is Netanyahu says no negotiation, let's just go attack. When he says the only type of deal that we want to have is type of Libya, I mean, we know that what happened to Libya. We know what happened to Gaddafi. So for sure you are, like definitely you are using those examples to make Iran get afraid and like play tougher, go on defense mode, so the negotiation doesn't go through, and then so you have more excuse and justification to attack. So, I mean, you could say, you could put those condition of Libya deal without going online and talk about it, because the exact second time that Netanyahu went to the White House, as soon as he found out that Iran is, America is having deal with Iran, still he was in Washington. He wasn't in Israel. He wasn't in Tel Aviv. Still he was in United States. He went to the room and he started to go in front of Allah, like right now, like in front of camera, and said, but the only deal that we accept, first of all, who are you? It's between United States and Iran. Who are you to say we accept? You want to go attack them, but then the rest is going to be on you, okay? Two, and it's the only thing that we accept is Libya. I mean, why do you have to bring that example? You could bring those Libya's conditions into the negotiation without naming it. For sure, you want to put them in the defense mode. You want to basically make them aggressive. That is why that you know that why you are using that language, in order to make them leave the table and say, you see, we wanted to have the deal, they didn't want to. Right? And then when he says 3% enrichment, if Ben Shapiro is really American, he should say 3% enrichment with all of our watch. Like one of the conditions Trump had, and actually yesterday those Iranian officials accepted that deal indirectly. They were saying, like, because for JCPOA, for Barack Obama, they said that no American can come and watch, you know, like those observers, those people who come to make sure like they are not making a nuclear weapon, there should be no American. And after that, they said no British or French either, right? But this time they said we let Americans come in and then make a decision, because they were saying like they're gonna spy on us. But this time they accepted. So Trump is saying, like, if they accept to give their the enrichment and make sure that they don't enrich more than like 3%, and we can observe them, we can see them, then why not? Right? So this is the negotiation. It's not like what Ben Shapiro is saying. Go tell them, do whatever we tell you to. If not, we're gonna bomb you. I mean, just go bomb them anyway, because it's not going to happen. It's not going to work out, because, you know, like I was listening, they would say, if either I'm going to give it to you or you're going to bomb it for me, then why am I giving it to you? Just bomb it anyway. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like he's desperately trying to make the negotiation impossible to attack them. And again, we would have different discussion if we were in 2016. Right now it is 2025. We have so many problems. Also, we were not in what was it called, the trade war, tariff war. We didn't have these problems, so we have to put in the consideration, maybe we cannot go 100% over there, but Ben Shapiro wants it because it benefits the only country that he has loyalty.